So we can get started.
Good morning, parents. How are you all doing this morning? I so appreciate you all for giving me a few hours of your Saturday morning. Thank you so much. Let us pray as we begin. Father in heaven, we thank you and we give you praise. We give you all the glory. We thank you, Lord, for first and foremost the gift of life, the gift of family, the gift of a vibrant church, the gift of a vibrant school, community. We thank you, oh God, for all that you've been doing for Ambassador Christian Academy. We say, let your name alone be glorified, oh God. Even as we have this conversation, oh God, this open, honest conversation, we ask that your spirit will guide us and lead us, oh God. Let the words that proceed out of our mouth minister grace to the hearer. Let it, oh God, even flow out of the abundance of your grace and your wisdom. We thank you, oh God, for where you're taking this school to, and we thank you that no weapon of the enemy formed against us will be able to prosper in the mighty name of Jesus. We exalt your holy name and we bless you. We thank you in advance for a productive, honest conversation, oh God. Let your name alone be glorified. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Okay, you guys, so this is our opportunity to share out some building updates with you guys, a few things that will be changing for next year, and then just for us to share some things in transparency from the school side and to hear anything that you would like to discuss or need further clarification on or suggestions that you might want to make. If you'd like to speak, we do have a podium set up right here so that you can just come to the podium and there is a mic there. And like we said, this is not a lecture. This is just our opportunity for you to hear our hearts and for us to hear yours so that we can come together as one school community, progressing forward for the betterment of all the children involved, okay? All right, so the first thing is the building updates. On January 26th, at roughly about 8 o'clock in the evening, a main pipe burst by the back door, which is by the reading nook. We are going to put some pictures up so that you guys can see the damage that was done. While it's not as bad as it could have been, it is definitely more than we had hoped for. And it is enough damage that we are not able to be in the building. So I'll give everybody about a minute or so to look at the photos. And where you see the drywall cut out and you see things like that, that's where the insurance company has already started doing the work. It is internal and external damage. So we do not have a projected date right now when we will return. We are saying that for now, we're planning to be here until at least Wednesday, March 25th, which is the Wednesday before our sneaker ball and before spring break starts the following week. If anything changes where the contractors are able to get the work done and completed before that time, then we'll let you guys know, because of course we're going to immediately move back once we're able to. But if the work is not completed by the time our spring break is over, then we will remain over here. Does anybody have any questions that you'd like to ask at this time regarding that? I don't know what the date is. We don't have a projected date, but right now we know we'll be here until at least March 25th. If anything changes and we're able to move sooner, then we'll post it on Class Dojo. Or if we hear while we're on spring break that the work is still not done, then we'll post it just to continue coming here. Okay, so worst case scenario, we'll be here to the end of the year. Best case scenario, we'll be leaving in a couple of weeks. All right, so while we're at EOC, our policies that exist for receiving students in the morning, releasing them at dismissal, and early release, they are still the same here at EOC that they were at 900. We do ask, if you're dropping your students off, that you drop them off at 7:35 or later, because if they come before that time, they're not able to come into the building unless they're part of an extended day program, and I do have updates for that program as well. If you're doing an early dismissal, please be here before 2 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, or 12:45 on Fridays. If you're getting in line to pick the students up, please pull your cars as close as you can to the car in front of you so that we can lessen the amount of cars that are stopped on Cleveland. We want to make certain that it is safe for everybody, and I do know sometimes people don't always drive for others, they drive just for themselves. So in the event that somebody is not paying attention, I certainly don't want any of my school families harmed, okay? So if we could just do that.
Any questions so far? Because we don't want to talk at you guys, we want to have a
Absolutely.
conversation.
Just come on to the podium.
And if you have a question, don't wait, you can just quietly get up to the podium, and once we see you, we will stop and acknowledge you.
Okay, thank you, first of all, for everything you do, because we know that you can expect, that to happen. One question, is there any way for, when we're doing pickup, can the cars like snake into the parking lots? We have a whole empty, like logistically, I'm just, we have the whole parking lot was like empty, and then they're going on the main street, but if we could snake it, more cars won't be on that main street, if that's
I
possible.
thought about it, but the problem I had was having enough cones, like you go at the airport and they have the, what do you call it? The little ropes at the airport, I needed cones to be able to do that. So,
We did have some conversations too, because we were talking last week about what would it look like if we did a double line so that we could pull more cars in. But the issue with doing the double line is sometimes some of the students, even though they're literally sitting right here in the foyer, take quite a bit of time to come. So at least with the single line, we knew that the other cars could go around. So it is a work in progress, and we will look into that as well.
And my other question is, when they are in aftercare, should we just plan that they are only, like, if I came at like 3:45 and the call time is 4 o'clock, should we just say they're only being released at the 4 o'clock?
Yes, they're only being released at 4 o'clock, and I have some updates for you. So once you sit down, you may actually have some more questions. Come back, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else, anything so far?
Good morning, everyone. Just to piggyback off of her question, is it an option to maybe just go around the building and maybe come that way or start around the building? That way it would get us out of the street?
It will, but then we would need to dismiss from the back door, which makes it a little bit harder because if all the cars are all the way around, unless we're just waiting until they get on this side and nobody is up front.
But no, just maybe snake the line around the building and just kind of reroute it, maybe come in the way we come in, go all the way around the building and
This way.
possibly?
I see what she's saying.
That'll be another year that we'll look at all of this on Monday. We'll go outside and see what we can do and maybe even practice some of the things with the teachers because we're trying to put some stuff in place. So we'll get a couple of the teachers to go with their cars and see if we can't come up with something. Okay, thank you guys. All right, we're gonna jump into what I call a hard moment of honesty and transparency. And I tell everybody that I believe in being nothing but transparent. This year, we suffered a huge loss, and it was at no fault of our own. With the state funding cutting our early childhood money and our aftercare money in mid-October, it made it really difficult to do anything because budgets had already been set, personnel had already been hired, and programs had already been planned for. So in trying to lessen the burden that was being placed on you guys and the burden that we were carrying, we figured, let's just reach out and ask the parents for help. I'm not certain if anybody recognizes it. We say it sometimes, but we don't talk about it very often. But Ambassador absorbs a lot of cost for a private school. Most private schools, you are not going to for 100% free of charge, and there's no cost to you. There is a difference between what the state voucher pays and what it actually costs to attend Ambassador, but we don't put that burden on any of you guys. The state doesn't pay us until October at the beginning of any school year, but that doesn't mean that the teachers and the staff work for free or that bills don't get paid. We use the money typically from our fundraising bucket to make certain that everybody is receiving the same. We have roughly about 48%, which is just short of 50% of our families who are participating in fundraising. It was really gut-wrenching to me. We knew what the percentage looked like in most years, but we try to be good stewards over our money. We try to make certain that we follow the philosophy that Dr. C and Dr. J established, which was always giving back to the community that they served. So they wanted to make certain that Ambassador was a place that anybody who wanted to come could, and let's try to make certain that we ease the financial burden that they might experience by handling that on our end. The money that we have poured into covering the gap between those vouchers, what it pays and what it costs, the uniforms that we give to the students that are returning each year as our way of just saying thank you. We want our kids to look good. We want to add to what you guys have, because many of the parents go out and buy uniforms, but this is just an additional one to add to it. The different events that we have where we sponsor breakfasts, and during COVID we drove around and we dropped off Christmas gifts. It is all part of who we are and who we want to be. But when we reached out and we said, hey, we really need the partnership of our families, you guys can't believe how many teeth we had to pull to get people to participate. And before I run down that rabbit hole, let me start by saying thank you to everybody who participated. Thank you to those families who went above and beyond. Thank you to those who participated in all of the fundraising efforts. But it's really hard to say, can you help us out with doing fundraising? Can you do $80 a box that we don't get 100% of? We don't even get 50% for that box. We get 40%. And I still have more than 20 families, despite the due date being January 29th, I still have more than 20 families who have not yet paid. But World's Finest doesn't want to hear that when that invoice comes due. That check was written yesterday. So they don't want to hear that, oh, but you know what, we don't have all of the money collected. It just made it really hard for us, and it made us say, you know, we always want to give, we always want to pour back, but this is supposed to be about a partnership. How do we as a school community come together in a different way?
I'm sorry, Principal. Parents, just to give you guys a little perspective, the state of Indiana for our tuition, and just feel free to correct me on this, our tuition here is approximately $8,000.
It's $8,350.
$8,350. For students living in the city of Gary, based on what the state pays, the state never pays 100% of your tuition. So we are left with approximately $351
They
for
pay $7,999. I thought it was $7,988, and that the tuition was $8,300 when I put out the original message for help and said that the difference was $288. But as we continue to look at things, the difference for only people living in Gary is $351.
And if you multiply that by approximately the number of our students who live in Gary, let's just say 180, that comes to $63,180. So that is how much we have incurred over the past few years just in scholarship. We don't come after parents for that money. We try and do our best from the money we get from fundraisers and internal funding here to support families. So this is a critical moment for Ambassador where we are crying for help and we need everyone's help. We're not asking you to pull out any money directly from your bank account, but when we ask for fundraisers, just do your best. Every little thing helps. It helps the student sitting next to you. It helps the student sitting behind you so that we don't have to come after any families. Our goal and our job here is to support every family. Okay? Any question at this time?
But yes, come on up to the podium.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good.
Why are we just hearing about this? If we had this problem for years, maybe we should have came forward before.
So we haven't had this problem
So
for
this
years.
is-
This just happened this year. Over the years, we have always covered the difference that has been, and it, the voucher typically goes up each year. Sometimes it might go about $25. I think the most it went up was maybe $80 last year. So it's just the school always covers the difference. So we're covering 50,000 or more each year that we don't ask you guys for help. But this year, when they took that, they cut the state funded in aftercare and daycare. That is part of our operational expenses. So that's why you guys heard it as soon as it started impacting us. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so what is it that we can do? Is the school getting ready to close or?
Oh, by no means, no
Okay,
ma'am.
so that's good. So what is it that the parents can do to help solve the situation?
So that's the part where we're at right now. It is trying to find a way we know for next year. And we put this letter out 2 years ago as well as at the start of this year for the bus families. Bus transportation will no longer be free. Bus transportation will be $150 for the first child and $30 for each additional child if it's a sibling. So that's one way that we're going. Another thing that we are in conversation with, but have not yet landed there, that will be based on the feedback of the board and our superintendent, is for those families who did not help out at all this year, will we still extend the same, we'll cover all of the costs next year, or we might be saying, coming in the door, you would have to put this down for your child, because we can't absorb that whole 100%.
So, okay, so the previous years, you guys were covering that extra
Yes, ma'am.
money.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And so this year we're having a problem with that.
This
So
year,
the
there's no
fundraising-
extra money because they took $250 from us.
Okay.
So when I say took $250, our after-school vouchers paid 162. It's $162 per child per week. That voucher went down to $46 per child per week. We had already hired the personnel, so we're still paying personnel. That was a 72% cut. Then the people that are in daycare, a lot of their vouchers got cut. And so the state went with, you can ask the parents to pay the difference. But I'm like, nobody has that kind of money, especially just finding out, some of us do well with budgeting. I'm fortunately, personally, not one of those. But some of us do well with budgeting and saving, and so if an emergency like that arises, you can say, hey, I have it. But otherwise, we're asking parents for 120, 150. No, I'm trying to go with what the weekly is for us. I should have been able to do fast math, but it's over $100 a week that I would have to ask the parents for them to pay that. If I had asked the parents and everybody agreed and they paid their $100 a week, then we wouldn't have been putting in another fundraiser. Everything would have been fine. We would have been moving as we typically have. But everything that we had in surplus has been used to make certain that the school still functions. Okay, so no, we are not getting ready to close. The kids are still going to have brand new books every year. We're still going to keep up with technology. It's just us having a heart-to-heart conversation just in case anybody truly was not aware of how much we pour back in as a school.
Okay, so as parents, what are we to do to help?
So as parents right now, we're asking you guys to please participate in the fundraisers that we have. We're trying not to get to the point of having to do a required amount, but we may have to shift into that by saying each family is responsible for this much money. You can either pay it out of pocket over an installment period, or you can satisfy it through fundraising. That is not what will be enforced for 26-27, but we are in conversations and we'll have to make that final decision based on how things go with 26, 27 fundraisers.
Okay, so as a total, we gonna all split the cost?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Frank, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody. So I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself. I'm not against paying a little bit more, for our kids to come to school because the public schools around here, they behavior-wise, they're not that good. Most of the private schools around here, like before we came here, we were looking at Highland Christian School. Great school.
Very
But it
beautiful
costs a lot of
campus.
money. So, I don't mind volunteering, things of that nature, even if, we do school supply drives or something like that, or, some of the families or most, or all, that's up to y'all. If we can do things over the summertime to prepare for next school year, so we don't have this problem.
Absolutely, and I thank you so much for that, and I know that you don't stand alone. So we definitely will be reaching out, but that was part of our talking points as well, in just the difference between private schools and public schools, and I think we all do our best, because I never want to be offensive to anybody, especially any educator, because I believe educators go above and beyond to make certain whatever school system that they're in, that we have the best. But with private schools, if the state of Indiana did not pay the tuition costs, which is the big ticket item, then it would be monetary coming directly from the families. When we talk about other private schools, no, they're not giving you free uniforms. No, you're not going 100% free. And yes, there is a commitment, even in schools like Highland Christian, which will offer you the opportunity to apply for financial aid, but it's still never going to be to the point where you're not paying absolutely anything. And even with that, there's still an additional commitment when we start talking about the Christian aspect of it and the going to church piece of it and different things. There's still a much larger commitment that we just didn't jump into that deep end of the water, because our ultimate goal was we want to be able to touch as many kids as we have. We believe in Ambassador, we believe in our product, we work every day to be better, to do better. We don't get it perfect all the time, you guys, but we do try our hardest to make certain that those students know that you are cared about, that you don't get to come here and act the fool. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what that you were saying, first I want to say thank you all from the bottom of my heart as I stand here representing the Live family. We are so appreciative for you guys and everything that you do. We were a family that were at Highland Christian, so we know what those out-of-pocket costs look like. And so me being a social worker by trade, I'm thinking community outreach, I'm thinking stakeholders, I'm thinking what can we do to build our fund even more so nobody is hurt. So you guys won't be carrying that burden either, right? So even if you guys, I don't know if you would be interested in even creating a committee where you guys are not carrying that aspect of it, like I said, I do it for a living. So I'm used to doing those things. If you wanted to create a committee with even the parents in conjunction with teachers to reach out to say, okay, we need some assistance, how can we do this? What community outreach and resources that we can connect with to help us.
Absolutely, and thank you for that. We will definitely be reaching out. We will definitely be posting some things so that if people are able to lean in differently or have some access to areas that we don't, or that are untouched, we haven't thought about, that we're definitely willing to go into that. We just want to make certain that Ambassador continues to be a beacon of light in the community and that it stays standing. It's been here for 25 years. In fact, it's a little bit more than 25 years. I think 27 years, and we want to make certain that it stands even stronger for 27 more. We started with a dream about a brand new school. Last school year, we got blueprints, and we started working with a contractor and just looking at what surplus do we have and where we're gonna put the school at. And then this year, we're thinking, okay, if we just continue moving in this direction, by next year, we might just be ready. And then we got hit, but it's okay, because we stand on God's promise.
In principle, it's actually 29 years this February. So God willing, next year, our 30th would be a different great story.
So, Ms. Harris, I just had some suggestions, like, so, I remember at one point in time, you all give the kids paying $1 to get out of uniform. Sometimes parents don't want to participate in the fundraiser. I don't mind, but other people might not. But I know sometimes your kids push you to do certain things that you don't want to do. So I know, like, when my kids come to me about stuff, like, I want to dress out of uniform, I'm gonna pay, because that's something they want. Or then we can also do stuff like, we have this big church, you can do a family and friends movie night and charge $5 a person. You can set up a concession stand out there, and all of that profit can go towards the money that we're missing. Yeah, but it's a lot of stuff with this church that you can utilize so we can bring in more revenue.
I am so open to this, and my heart is just warm because you can feel the caring that comes, and these aren't things that we thought about. You know, we run on, okay, what can we do? But that wasn't it. Bringing those ideas definitely help, and I thank you so much, and you guys will see us moving forward in those type of directions. With the out of uniform, I think this is where it would lean into partnerships and policies and procedures, because the reason that we stopped doing the out of uniform was because we had some families that no matter what, I'm not gonna pay the $1, and I'm still gonna send my kid out of uniform. That is not fair to the families that are paying $1. And we even have staff members because we know some families truly are hurting, we get it. We have staff members, myself, Ms. Jessica, the teachers, that we know it might be a family that is in a financial bind at the time. And the staff goes ahead and supports that child so that the child isn't feeling the burden. But it is just us coming together, you guys, and working together to make certain that our end result is what's best for our kids and our school community as a whole. We do our best to make certain that that school stays clean, that it stays updated. We're constantly renovating or adding in different things until we can move to a new school building, but we need you guys' help as well. We need your voice as well. Anybody have anything that I haven't covered that you want to speak on, or, okay, I have one person come up.
I was just wondering, if there are some additional grants out there for, that's not covered under the state voucher. Because my student, all my students that they do receive the voucher. I also have a daughter who's a senior in Michigan City. She goes to a private school there, she's covered with the voucher. And their tuition is like almost $2,000. And, so I have to come out like $3,000 out of pocket. But they were able to, in the financial department, was able to, sign my daughter up, for additional
Yes, ma'am.
scholarships. I can ask them,
Okay.
because I know what that scholarship is,
Okay.
but it covers the remaining of her, tuition. So I was just wondering if there are other sources out there.
We can look into grants. A lot of the times, the private schools, Christian, Catholic, have endowments where they have alumni who have paid into or are constantly pouring in, and they tap those funds. We had not started an official endowment. We just always used our fundraising funds to be able to cover the gap, but we know we need to cast a much wider net right now. So yes, we will definitely be looking into grants. But I can't promise that, you know, we will necessarily tap into that. So that's why we were speaking as a school community to see what else we can do. But thank you, I appreciate that suggestion.
And also, we do have some children that we have scholarshiped. We have some that we are still scholarshiping. But like what Principal said, as far as like the endowments and things like that, you have some people that actually put money into their 401k. And at a certain time of the year, they come and pull that money down and deposit that money into the school's account because some people believe in that particular school. We just so happen that we don't have the football players, the basketball players, the baseball players, to pull that money, the CEOs, because they pull down hundreds of thousands of dollars. I worked at the bank, and we had one of our presidents would come once a year and draw out $100,000 to put into a particular school. But some people believe in education. Some people don't believe in education. And that was the part of the big fight with the school choice voucher, was because they've always felt that we pay taxes, but your tax dollars are supposed to only go to the public school. So I went to Indianapolis and we lobbied to get the private schools so that we could get some of those dollars, so that we could help some of our families as well. And so we were able to get that. It took us some years, but we finally were able to get that school choice voucher. And it has made a huge difference, a huge impact, because when I first came here 21 years ago, all of our parents were paying cash. They were paying cash, or they were on the CCDF voucher. But everybody that walked through Ambassador Christian Academy was paying something. And at that particular time, we had 300 children. And so now the numbers are doing it, but we thank God for the school choice voucher. We thank God for every dime that we can get in. And just like Principal and Ojo was saying, we asked our parents to do fundraising. And so some kick, some scream. I talked to a parent the other day, and so she said to me, I said, listen, the difference in the school choice voucher and what your voucher, what you're getting, is like $700. I said, so if we came back to you and asked you to pay this money, I would be asking you for $70 a month. You know what she said to me? Well, why you just didn't say that in the first place, Miss Jessica? I said, I don't know. You know why? Because you didn't talk to me. That's the reason I didn't say it to you. So you guys, that's the only thing that we're asking. We're asking for help. And don't get me wrong, we appreciate everything that you all do for us. I have yet to have a parent to come to me and say to me, I need an extension, and I didn't allow them to have it. At the end of the day, your word is your bond. That's all I have, and I'm going to take you for your word. But you can only give me one time. After that, I'm coming after you. I want that money, we're going to get that money, okay? It's going to be a tug of war, but I'm going to get that money. I'm just going to tell you, it's a whole other side of me. That nice, sweet voice is a whole other side of me. So do we work with these parents? Yes, we do. We do everything that we can. We bend over backwards. We do it all. I've never seen a place like this. Principal talking about the teachers have to have their salaries. I don't know what principal talking about. My gas and light bill got to pay big like everybody else's gas and light bill up in here. I'm not taking a cut and pay, but I am leaving in May. I'm not taking a cut and pay. I want my money. NIPSCO don't want to hear nothing that we got to say. NIPSCO might not work with you, but we're going to work with you. We're going to do all we can. We're going to do the best that we can. We talked about the out of uniform days. We talked about that. I'm all for it. Principal was all against it. I'm all for it. Me and these kids want to have some fun, and we want to put our clothes on.
But I was against it because I believe in fair and being consistent. I am okay once that it's for a child that we know, okay, they didn't have it, so-and-so just put in for them. But every single month, you're going to send this kid, you're never paying. It's just trying to avoid having to fight. And yes, we would call nice and like, hey, so-and-so came out of uniform and it was $1. You know, if you could please send that in. And now I'm pulling teeth.
I'm
So,
for freedom. Me and the kids want to dress. We want to put on some of the pretty clothes.
So
that
now
y'all
our
buy us.
uniform days are for free when we say the kid can come out in uniform and everybody comes, but we do need to
I
go
want
back
to
to
put
the
them out of
drawing
uniform
board.
clothes. I'm like the kids. I'm kicking this room.
I also would like,
Talking to the mic.
being a parent that comes from Michigan City, what will be my cost monthly? Even though I do participate in the fundraising. And also, I have one more suggestion to make real quick. Because my daughter, she enjoys to dance. So I was just wondering if maybe there could be where we pay for dance classes. 'Cause I
So
know-
we don't charge that right now. What I would ask first is that if we have any parents who are willing to volunteer time to do things like that, like we pretty much have dance covered, but with cheerleading. We had cheerleading covered last year, but then the teacher that was doing cheerleading is going for an advanced degree. So it was too much to carry the load of going back to school, working full-time, and doing cheerleading. Everything that we do, our teachers wear a gazillion different hats. But if we have parents who are willing to say, hey, I don't mind doing track, I don't mind helping for cheerleading, I don't mind coming to help for parking lot duty. Right now, we are requiring those things of families, and that is some of the things that you will see in other private schools, that you're required to put in so many hours of volunteering. But if we could get help from the school community like that, that would help too, and it would expand on the different opportunities and clubs and experiences our students can have. Okay.
Thank you.
Your question, the difference in the Michigan City School is $1,900. Okay, and so even in the
Between what
Miracle
the
School,
voucher
it's a
pays?
difference, yes, the
So,
voucher pays
okay.
$63.87, so it's not $1,963. So even in the Miracle, so every school district, including Gary, they did not pay 100%.
So would it be $63 a month for me?
No, it would have actually looked like $190 a month, but for this year, it is not anything for anybody. God has covered us, we have used our surplus, we are still moving forward, but we're just having a conversation so people know that it's time for us to begin to turn and move in a different direction. But we're trying to turn and move in a different direction at a pace that will not send all of our families fleeing out of the door, but also that does not leave us holding on to dead weight.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Ms. Nelson.
Hello. I personally, as a staff of 14 years, I want to thank you publicly because since you've been here, you have changed the building. You have made the exterior and the interior so much better. You have supported us. You have, yes, we wear, I don't even know how many hats I wear, but I know that you have got my back. And I wanted to just state regarding the dress down, and I remember being here for when we paid the $1, the kids had to pay $1. But what we noticed, it wasn't just the families that said, no, my kid's gonna still do it and I'm not gonna pay. But we also noticed the change in conduct. The days that they had dress down, and I'm sorry to say, it was as if we were at a public school. The attitudes, the fighting, the things that we didn't deal with when children didn't have to think about, well, my shoes don't look like your shoes. And I don't have the newest pair of jeans. And no, you can't wear that, that's not modest. That was the things that we dealt with. So since we haven't had, we've had a little less to deal with when it comes to conduct. And this is the best school. It is the best school because I know students feel safe here. I know that I tutor students that do not go here, and they say, Ms. Nielsen, I have seen this fight, this student, this teacher got yelled at and slapped, and that wouldn't happen here. One, because we got you, and two, because first we got God, and we've got you. So I just wanted to publicly thank you, but those that are here partnering, that's what makes a good school. You took the time on your Saturday to come and be a part of a great school, and it takes everybody. So thank you.
Last question for me. I'm a numbers person. So if we can all partner together, because the goal is to, get the endowment or have a surplus, not to operate in the negative. What's the numbers? Like if we have 200 students and we need 60,000.
So if everybody committed to $400.
Okay.
So whether that's $400 paid, and it would be $400 per kid. Whether that's $40 paid per month because you have one kid, or if that's, I'll do mine in fundraising, and then we'll say, hey, okay, we'll do taffy apples, we'll do a sneaker ball, we'll have a movie night, and you'll sell this many tickets, or however it goes, that will be what will start to put us back in the green.
$400 for early childhood and main building, $400.
Early childhood, yeah, for it. Well,
You better tell us now, but I'm trying to tell us the
so you're talking about with fundraising? That's what the fundraising cost would be.
But no, I'm just saying in general, like
I have to go and crunch the numbers on early childhood, and I only say that because I've memorized the voucher numbers for school choice. Early childhood looks a little bit different because some families are on, or a number of families are on CCDF, and other families are scholarship by the school and are paying out of pocket. So I can only speak right now for K through 8 when I say it would be $400 per kid, which would be in addition to that voucher. And so whether it's $400 paid out of pocket per kid, or if it is, I will take on this amount in fundraising, knowing that fundraising only gets us 50%, if that, give or take what we do in profits.
and that is to build an endowment, that is for a surplus, is that just to get us through, like not
That would be to get us back into the green. Right now, we're in the red because we don't have any surplus. All of the surplus that we had has been absorbed to continue moving through this school year the way we started. Okay?
So $400 a person, we can do that. We can do that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. That $400 would have been for the year. It would have been for the year, per kid. And so, I think that where we would round off at, again, is just speaking on partnerships. Ambassador is a small school because we want to make certain that we know everybody, we know you guys. Oh, no, come on, y'all, go up to the front, I can hold back.
So with that $400, how y'all doing? Thank you, like everybody else said, but with that $400, is it possible, I know that you're saying like, maybe, and it might be too soon, but this is a Christian school and we're familiar with church, so you know, we pledge. There's nothing wrong with asking the people to pledge, because we value private education. And I mean, just pledging, there's nothing wrong, it's tax time. You can throw out a flyer like, hey, this is where we're at, because you have parents who are saying, I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to do that. And obviously you would want something more concrete moving forward, but just randomly asking, like you could like drop your cash out. There's nothing wrong with posting and saying, hey, this is where we are, especially for the people who are here for the State of the Union address. Would you be willing to pledge this amount for the remainder of this year, or $50, $10, anything will help, and that'll start us off better for fresh with something for next year, especially considering we got the insurance, but you know, you might have to pay a deductible, and who want to do that? But
The deductible is $12,000.
right, so that takes out that. You still got to pay the insurance again, which is crazy, but anywho, that's not the time for that. So that pledging is an opportunity for people to give money that may be coming up now. They may be more willing to sacrifice now. And that's just the option that you can present to people throughout the year anyway.
Absolutely, I'll definitely present that. I think what I would ask this year, while I would love for you guys to make a pledge financially.
We like us pass the offering around.
It is Teachers Appreciation is coming up, and we never ask our families to appreciate the teachers because typically that's what we do. And last year you partnered with us, which was amazing. Thank you. I am asking if you guys will just commit to, during Teachers Appreciation Week, just appreciating the staff, because I no longer have the surplus to be able to pour on them. I'm always, during Teacher Appreciation Week, I try to make certain they have meals, I try to make certain they have a little gift on their desk each day, because they do go above and beyond. We may not recognize it, but they give countless hours that you guys just don't know about. They deal with a lot of different things, and some things are just what's part of the job, but they still show up every single day.
And to add to what Principal just said, in the public school system, they do have compensations for the sports director,
Right,
the
they get state
basketball
funding.
coach, and so on and so forth. But our teachers here wear so many hats, and they do it all out of the abundance of their heart. In addition to everything Principal and I are pulling and pushing them to do as well. So just consider that.
I have another question. Another thing, a lot of parents have also suggested and volunteered to do and offer certain things. Is there a reason why we don't necessarily have a PTA to kind of come in and help assist the staff
So,
with?
we had the start of a PTA when I first got here. This is my 9th year, and we were getting really good traction. Once COVID came up, is what kind of dismantled everything, because we couldn't come together, we couldn't convene like that. And so we just did not circle back. I am open to a PTA, but I'd like to sit down and have the conversation so that we make certain that our PTA is operating effectively. Where I have seen PTAs go off of the rail, if you don't kind of set up the right framework, is it becomes a group of parents that just want to complain about everything. I don't need a big complaint group. I need a group that we're here to work for the school. Most of the time, PTAs are in charge of the fundraising aspect of the school, especially when you think about private schools. But I am always open to having a parent-teacher association, different committees to support us. We just didn't know if our families would partner like that, because when we put out different things like, hey, you guys, if anybody's available to help with parking at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, would you please reach out to us? And nobody reaches out. So then we always like, okay, you know what, never mind, let's just do what we need to do in here, who can help? So that's why we didn't continue to cast out a line for that, but we are definitely open. And maybe it might be something that we can get actively in place for August. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we don't get any city funding, correct?
No, we don't get any city funding. We only get the state vouchers, that's it. And once she finishes hers, I'm gonna give an update about the aftercare program.
This is my last question, sorry. So with the 400, are we planning on doing anything this summer to help fund money for that, or do we have anything?
They were talking about different sponsors. We weren't planning anything just yet for the summer. I'm open to the conversation, which will be through the month of June, because after that, then the teachers go on break, and I would like to go on break.
I gotta get y'all time. Y'all give a page, I get it.
Okay, no problem. For the current aftercare program, we have been, since we've been here, we've been hosting it in this building. However, EOC was listed as our emergency site, but because we didn't activate it for 10 years, the state was only willing to allow us to say, okay, you need 24 hours, 48 hours to be there, that's fine, no problem. With the length of time that we are talking about, we cannot hold our aftercare program here because it is not considered a licensed facility for us. So effective on Tuesday at 2:15, the kids that are in the aftercare program will be bussed over to the daycare building because that is one of our approved licensed facilities. And our aftercare staff will be over there with them then. Those 809 West Ridge Road are right at the corner of Harrison and Ridge. The students will receive, I done talked too long, sorry, but speed it up. The students will receive tutoring support only on Mondays, but Tuesday through Friday, they will be taken over to the 809 building. So if you have a child that is in aftercare and you're going to come and pick the child up from school at dismissal time, but you didn't let us know, you're gonna have to go over to 809 because they're gonna be out of this building, but they're gonna be on that bus at 2:15 because my first bus riders leave the building at 2:30. So if you have an aftercare student, please make certain that you give us a call if you want that child to remain in the building, and it will have to be done before 2 o'clock. Otherwise, they will be taken over to 809 West Ridge Road, and they will only be able to tap into the tutoring program after school throughout the week on Mondays. Okay?
What time do we have to be here if we choose for them to be here instead of going?
If you choose for them to be here and they are not funded through the state, you can continue how everything went. This really only applies for the families whose aftercare program is not being paid out of their personal pocket. You all supposed to come to the mic. Yo, come on. We want everybody to hear our questions. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, I don't know if I missed this or not, but what are the updates as far as the building goes?
Oh, you missed the whole weekend. You missed the pictures and everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry, DJ and basketball.
I got you. How about if I connect with you offline, but I'll give you the bottom line being we're gonna be here till at least March 25th. At least, okay.
I was just asking, does that include, just after aftercare, or is that for the kids that are in tutoring as well?
So that is just the kids that are part of the aftercare program, but those who stay for academic support through tutoring on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, that does not, apply to them. It's just parents need to be here for, that's all.
Okay,
Okay?
got it, thank you.
Mhm. Is it anything else that you guys would like to, come on down?
Just want to clarify. So, for parents who are a part of both categories, who have children who are doing academic support and are also on the CCDF program, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, you will pick up your children from tutoring
No.
at 4.
Only on Mondays. If they are part of academic support, but they are on the CCDF program, Tuesday through Friday, we're gonna send them over to 809, because if I keep them here, I cannot claim money
You
for
can't
them.
claim. So that
Correct,
mess
and
they-
this is not
mess
the
they
year
out
that
your-
we can't claim money for
Right,
anybody.
and the mess they voucher up.
Yes.
So, their tutoring will only be on Mondays and every other Saturday.
Yes,
Just wanted to clarify.
okay, no problem. Anybody else? Teachers, is it anything I need to discuss that I didn't discuss? Parents, is it anything you were looking to hear that you didn't hear? Does everybody feel like I did not waste your time? Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you again on Monday here with the students, beginning, not the Tuesday after President's Day, which is February 17th. You guys will be able to come in and do praise and worship with us in the sanctuary, but we are not allowing any parents into the instructional spaces because we don't have the same camera footage here. And so just to make certain that everybody is safe in the building, we just aren't allowing anybody to go beyond this area right here. So when you drop the kids off, if you want to come in and you want to join us for praise and worship, you can start doing that on Tuesday, February the 17th. We haven't done it sooner because we want to make certain we have a well-oiled routine for how the kids come in, what they do, and then when they're being dismissed. And I think the last thing I want to say is, we know we love the Lord, we know why we chose a Christian school. I'm just going to ask you, please keep speaking to your kids, especially as they grow older. When we do our pledges and our prayers and our praise and our worship, our babies give their whole hearts. By the time when we start shifting to middle school, we told them on Friday, we are so happy and thankful that God does not treat us the way we treat him. So if we could just please speak to our older students about just their love for God. We know they may not want to dance, so they don't have to dance, but we do not expect them to be in praise and worship like this. That is not okay, and so we are constantly pushing, but we're just now sharing out with you guys to just keep pouring into them, and I'm sure you do, but just keep pouring into them so that they recognize that. And a lot of times they do things to impress their peers, not understanding that some of the times the people that you're trying to impress aren't even worth it. That you bring more to the table than them, and that they need to be following you and not you following them. Other than that, finances. If there's anybody that was part of that number with outstanding candy money who happens to be present here today, we would be more than happy to take that payment from you. Last thing with that, what you guys may not know is a whole school community, because we tried to make certain that when we did this particular thing, we sent it to individual families, but we are doing exclusions from school for people who did not pay the candy money. We did extend it for a week past the due date, but we are doing exclusions from school. And as we move forward, if we do get into that part where we're saying, hey, you gotta pay this much, or you're required to fundraise, if that's not met at a particular point in time, and there are no arrangements that have been made, then we will be putting in an exclusionary clause then too, okay? Other than that, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I thank you so much for coming. Oh, wait, graduation? Oh, I just feel like I'm a bill collector. For anybody who has not yet, Okay, who has not yet paid their graduation fees for kindergarten and 8th grade, they were due at the end of January. Please get the money in ASAP. We did not do the cap and gown measurement like we were supposed to because the emergency came up, but we will be doing it this coming week. And if we don't have your fee in or have heard from you or something paid on it, and when I say something paid on it at this point where we might be saying, I can give you 50% this week and I'll have that, the rest of it paid by the end of the month because we don't have room to stretch it out, your child will risk not having the cap and gown and they will risk not potentially being in the activities. The activities are based on the number of the entire class, but if we don't have that fee, I don't want to make it where everybody else cannot attend. And then that means the school is covering that gap as well.